We now present For the Record.
Just ahead, Ron DeSantis jumping into the presidential race, but not with quite the splash you might expect.
I don't know how much of a bounce he will get given all of the problems that happened with his announcement.
And later, we're sitting down one-on-one with the union chief steward fired by CUNA Mutual, one of the last straws that led to the ongoing strike there.
So the reason that we called the strike is because we filed more than 9 unfair labor practice charges against the employer.
Welcome to For the Record. I'm Naomi Coles. This week, a widely expected presidential announcement from Florida Governor Ron DeSantis falling a bit flat after taking to Twitter Spaces with Elon Musk to make the news. Now, breaking this down, I'm joined by UW-La Crosse political scientist Anthony Chergosky to break this down. Anthony, have you ever seen a presidential announcement quite like this one?
Not at all, Naomi. It was quite an interesting situation where Ron DeSantis was in almost a panel discussion with Elon Musk and a number of other figures. There were technical problems. There was no video. And so it came under criticism as being a rather underwhelming launch. From there, Ron DeSantis went into conservative media like Fox News and some key conservative talk radio shows. So he is very much gravitating towards that friendly conservative media ecosystem like Elon Musk, like Fox News, like talk radio. It's a real test for him how much mileage he can get out of the conservative media sphere, or if he needs to branch out beyond that in order to gain more traction as he gets his campaign underway.
I mean, this was a highly, you talk about conservative media, and that's all very true. But with Twitter specifically, I mean, we don't consider Twitter media by any stretch in the sense of a platform, in the sense of a TV platform. I mean, I saw Nikki Haley's team tweet out a little bit of a subtweet, their video of their campaign announcement, which was the traditional. It's a rally. You've got music and upbeat music interspersed with like rallying sound bites from the candidate laced through the footage. And we just didn't get that from DeSantis. Does that mean what we think it means to voters?
I don't know how much this matters over the long run, Naomi, but certainly candidates want to make a splash when they announce. They have media attention. They have the public's attention. They want to get those fundraising numbers up when they announce. And so I'm not sure how much mileage Ron DeSantis really gets out of this announcement, if he gets the kind of mileage that he was hoping for. Certainly, he comes into the race as the clear second place participant in the Republican nomination process. He is clearly in second place. He is significantly behind President Trump right now, but he is ahead of any of his other competitors. So I don't know how much of a bounce he will get given all of the problems that happened with his announcement. He needs a bounce in order to catch up with former President Trump, yet he still is clearly that second place contender.
He was recently in Wisconsin, central Wisconsin, a week or two ago. What do you think our state's mood will be overall to DeSantis versus, as you mentioned, Trump?
Yeah, I think Ron DeSantis came to Wisconsin to show that he can win over some Donald Trump supporters. And that is exactly what he needs to do, Naomi. He went to a part of the state where Donald Trump is quite popular. And in order to win the nomination, he's going to have to persuade some people who really like Donald Trump that they should actually vote for Ron DeSantis. And that's going to be easier said than done. It will require Ron DeSantis to not just talk about his record in Florida, to not just talk about his opposition to what he calls woke policies. He's going to have to engage in a sustained negative campaign against Donald Trump. We also know that the Republican primary electorate really likes Donald Trump. So Ron DeSantis is going to be walking quite a tightrope, trying to persuade people who really like Donald Trump to not vote for Donald Trump while not offending those who really like Donald Trump. It's quite a tightrope that Ron DeSantis is going to have to walk.
It certainly is. We're roughly a year out now from the Republican National Convention happening here in Wisconsin, here in Milwaukee next summer. Is it really Trump or DeSantis? Do we think by the time that we get to that crucial, decisive moment a year from now that it's going to be Trump or DeSantis making that final speech on the convention floor?
It certainly looks like it could be one of the two, Naomi, but we also know that there are still people who are looking at making an entrance into the race. Glenn Youngkin, the governor of Virginia, Chris Sununu, the governor of New Hampshire, Doug Burgum, the governor of North Dakota, some others who may be looking at the race, like former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. So there is still some entrance that might take place in this race. There are some people who are still looking at this. We know that Donald Trump welcomes the possibility of a crowded field. Donald Trump benefited enormously from a crowded Republican field in 2016. He was able to benefit from the chaos of a crowded field, and he was able to stand out amongst his competitors. And so I think Donald Trump welcomes the fact that this could be a crowded field. And it just means that Donald Trump would probably be more likely to be the nominee the more crowded the field is.
Is there a historical precedent for a candidate who is well in second place a year before the conventions, or perhaps well in third place a year before the conventions on either party, to soar past that and become the main contender, become the primary selection?
I'll give you one from recent history, Barack Obama. Barack Obama was well behind Hillary Clinton in the competition for the Democratic Party's nomination in 2008. Barack Obama was able to catch some momentum as the nomination contest got underway. And I think that's kind of the theory of the race for Ron DeSantis, that for a while, DeSantis might be in second place, but maybe he can catch fire. Maybe he can catch some momentum and become kind of like an equal player to Donald Trump, maybe ultimately pulling ahead. So I don't think the DeSantis team thinks it's going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight, catching up with Donald Trump. But maybe there is a slow process through which they can gain some momentum, have some success in these early nomination contests like Obama did, and ultimately pull ahead. It's not going to happen overnight, but I think the DeSantis team does have a theory of how they can win the nomination.
Anthony, always good to talk to you. Thanks so much for bringing your insight to the show.
Thank you.
All right, just ahead, a massive strike in Madison will head into its second week. Hear from the man who was fired, which got it all started.